¡Ahí viene la migra!
Trucha, ahí viene la migra. Bienvenido a su programa Trucha Time, un programa iniciado hace un par de semanas para traerles lo más calentito en el mundo de la migra. Trucha Time is your program, a program developed especially for these pre-presidential years of Trump. Ya sabemos que ahí viene trompetas y que trae muchos cambios. Y cuando trompeta llega, va a llegar tocando más que música y nos va a ir para la fregada en muchos sentidos. Yo creo que lo tenemos que creer. I believe that the changes that Trump will bring will be real ones. He's not playing around. His anti-immigrant, anti-Mexican position has been very clear. And we're already starting to feel some of those changes in the implementation of the law. Some of them at the state level, some of them at the federal level. And today we have a special guest from the Texas Civil Rights Project from Austin, Texas, Efren Olivares, who's going to talk to us about the impact that the DPS, the Department of Public Safety's interpretation, is going to have upon many of our children, many of our relatives, many of our friends who are DACA recipients and who are going to maybe get their license for the first time or try to renew it. They have a 2-year work authorization permit, and all of a sudden the Department of Public Safety has taken the position that until it's clarified what's going to happen with DACA, they don't feel like giving you an extension on your work permit. We're also going to have a couple of DACA students, specifically Daisy Paola Rodriguez will be with us, a high school senior from Burgess, who's sitting in with us. But first, vamos a pasar la palabra a Efren Olivares. Good morning, Efren.
¿Qué tal? Buenos días.
Muy bien, muy bien. Pues mira, aquí en Trucha Time hemos decidido desarrollar un programa totalmente bilingüe. Generalmente, when we're doing the DACA students, we prefer to speak in English to show our neighbors that these students, without documentation but with big dreams, are our neighbors. They speak English, they're part of our community. Pero cuando quieres brincas y hablas el español. So, to begin with, Efren, tell us a little about what the Texas Civil Rights Project is.
Yeah, so we are a civil rights organization that through education and litigation efforts around the state of Texas, we defend civil rights, particularly in the areas of criminal justice reform, civil rights, and racial and economic justice, which nowadays is focused on immigrants' rights, the rights of immigrants and their families. So I am located in the South Texas office, which is in the city of Alamo, right by the border near McAllen. But we have 5 offices around the state in El Paso, Austin, Houston, and Dallas, in addition to our South Texas office.
And where are you from?
And, yeah, I'm originally from Mexico, for just outside Monterrey, from Allende, Nuevo León. I migrated to the U.S. when I was in middle school, and I went to college and law school here. And now I practice defending immigrants' rights.
And where did you grow up in? Did you grow up in Texas?
When we moved here to McAllen, yes.
Okay.
I grew up here in the valley.
Un fronterizo, entonces.
Yes.
Okay. Now, before we get into what the Department of Public Safety is doing on these licenses, just for review and to get maybe an update, what's the latest on what people feel is going to happen with DACA, and what advice the Texas Civil Rights Project has for people who are afraid as to their future in this country?
Pues sí, o sea, la gente está preocupada, está siendo cautelosa, preparándose de la mejor manera posible. Como dice el dicho en inglés, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Así es.
So what we're telling people is that if they currently have DACA, that it's still valid. Nothing's changed, and until we have news from the new administration, those permits are valid. Now, people who are thinking of applying for the first time, they might, unless they are in removal proceedings, meaning in immigration proceedings, the general advice is to probably wait a little bit, wait to see what the new administration does with the program. So we're less than a month, almost a month away from inauguration. So we are advising people to wait about a couple of months to see if there's anything that happens immediately with DACA. Y si no pasa nada, pues que ya ahora sí apliquen, si es la aplicación inicial. Ahora, la gente que quiere renovar, there it's a little different because it depends greatly on when it's going to expire. And the thing is that if it's about to expire now, it's very, very unlikely. In fact, it's almost now practically impossible that a renewal application submitted today will get processed before the new administration comes. So there, the calculus is more like, well, if I apply to renew and then the program is canceled, I risk losing the money. On the other hand, if I apply to renew and then the program is canceled, but say they process all the applications that were submitted before the 20th, then maybe it's in my interest to apply to renew now. So it's a different calculus, and then if you're thinking of renewing, lo más recomendable en este momento es que consulten con un abogado para que evalúen sus circunstancias particulares y tomen la decisión más informada.
Oiga, and what have you heard, or what's your sense of what's going to happen with DACA? I know we're all guessing, but one of the possibilities I think that we need to look at is that DACA could be revoked by executive action by Trump on the 20th of January. But what's he going to do with the work permit if it doesn't expire till 2018? Is he going to revoke everything? Is he going to allow the work authorization cards to die a natural death? What are we, and what are the legislative proposals that you've seen or heard or favor that's going to come after DACA? What's Plan B politically? One of the things I think, Efren, that I've been doing, and I know attorneys throughout the state have been doing, at least privately with people, is telling them there is a Plan B. El hecho de que se vence el DACA no implica que se deben de ir. Preparados, no escamados. It's prepared, not scared, is el lema de Trucha Time, because we want to let people know that you may not have a way of fixing your papers through DACA, which you don't at this point, but at least era un permiso de trabajo. But what do? Plan B. Have you been here more than 10 years? Do you have families with papers? Have someone else filed for you? For those of us who live on the border and are fleeing violence, do you qualify for asylum? And so there's just so much up in the air, and I think the importance of the work of Efren and the work of de su servidor en un programa así es dar a conocer a la gente sus derechos y la situación. So have you heard anything politically, Efren, that your organization get behind in terms of post-DACA, or at this point it's just holding the fort?
Well, you might be familiar with a couple of bills that were introduced in Congress, particularly the BRIDGE Act. And BRIDGE stands for Bar Removal of Immigrants Who Dream and Grow the Economy Act. And what that is a bill that would turn DACA into a law enacted by Congress so that the president cannot revoke it by executive action. Now, the chances of that bill becoming law are not so sure. So I wouldn't, hold my breath and wait out for that to happen. It might not happen, but it could happen. So if it happens, then all of a sudden DACA stops being an executive order and becomes the law, and the president, no matter who it is, cannot undo it. So that would be ideal, because it would make DACA more permanent, and it would give all of these protections that making an executive action a law would mean. Now, if that doesn't happen, then the president will have the power to amend DACA, to cancel DACA, to terminate DACA. Now, and what terms that will take is a trick. Now, the rhetoric after the election, I believe, has changed some to focus more on quote-unquote criminal aliens. So criminal immigrants with criminal records, with serious criminal records. Now, as much as I am here to say that even that is not desirable because the way immigration laws define the different crimes is different than the way our state law defines crimes, but that's a separate issue. But the point I want to make on that is that it appears to be shifting away from DACA recipients. DACA recipients, by definition, have clean or very minor criminal records. So if what we're seeing lately from the transition team and Trump himself to focus more on quote-unquote criminal immigrants, it seems to be shifting away from DACA. And, DACA is a program that has generated simply in filing fees hundreds of millions of dollars to the U.S. government and therefore to the U.S. economy. In addition to the fact that by joining the economy formally, they are contributing members of our society even more than ever in all the formal ways. So I hope that the next administration will not terminate DACA. And if it does terminate it, I hope it would be just bureaucratically much more straightforward for the administration to let the work permits run their course as opposed to canceling them de la noche a la mañana. Que diga el 20 de enero, ¿sabes qué? Todos estos 850,000 permisos de trabajo se cancelan ya ahorita inmediatamente. Eso sería administrativamente una pesadilla. It would be very, very hard to make that happen in practice because it's, almost 1 million people around the country that have these valid work permits, and it would be just too complicated for them. But, my hope first and foremost is that the program will be allowed to continue.
Now, one of the other proposals that they've been circulating, and even here in El Paso through our congressman, sponsored by Luis Gutierrez, congressman from pro-immigrant congressman from Chicago over the years, has been to offer a presidential pardon against removal of certain sections of the law, which I found very somewhat contradictory and confusing. One commentator called it, or respingó otro representante que dijo, nuestros niños no son criminales y no necesitan perdón de nadie. On the other hand, there are benefits. As an immigration attorney, I can attest to the fact I'd rather have them unable to proceed against somebody for entering unlawfully or overstaying or being prosecuted for illegal entry, but you still don't have papers. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, with this discussion of the pardon, I think it's well intended and well meaning, pero no se me hace la mejor manera de proceder porque ¿de qué es lo que los van a perdonar? What's the pardon for? Some people might need it for, entering without inspection. Other people might need it for certain criminal situations that they might have on their records. Other people might not need it. So they have nothing to be pardoned for. So es algo que es más complicado de aplicarle a todas las personas que tienen DACA. Es algo que sería caso por caso. Entonces no me parece, como dices tú, it's better than nothing, and it might benefit a good number of the DACA recipients, but I don't think it's the best way to go forward. And lo que decías también, que no son criminales, no son personas que necesitan ser perdonadas.
Así es, pero creo que lo que se me hace importante también, antes de entrarle en la cuestión de las licencias, es reconocer que hay mucho chantaje en la comunidad. Y creo que es importante hablar de que ahorita no hay ninguna propuesta concreta, porque ustedes ya saben que empiezan a promover cambios o propuestas y de repente salen todos los notarios vendiendo papeles, prometiendo permisos de trabajo, presentando cosas que sencillamente no existen. I think it's important for everybody to understand that a presidential pardon may not do much, but it doesn't exist. Obama's come out against it. The bottom line in these discussions is to let the community know that que no hay nada nuevo. No anden gastando dinero, no salgan del país. Si van puede ser una deportación, posiblemente si uno sale y no pueden regresar. Puede ser muy complicado. Tenemos aquí con nosotros Efren Olivares, Texas Civil Rights, Olivares, disculpe, con Texas Civil Rights Project, aquí en su programa Trucha Time, 577-0750, si tienen alguna pregunta, 577-0750. También, Efren, antes de entrarle en la cuestión de las licencias, te quiero presentar con 3 miembros de nuestra comunidad: Paola Rodriguez, Daisy Arvizu y Armando Arvizu. Son miembros de la Red Fronteriza de Derechos Humanos, de familias activistas que han luchado por cambios positivos aquí, y también ahorita nos van a hablar de su situación, y ahorita te van a hacer una serie de preguntas relacionadas a la situación que ellos tienen y su licencia. And so without further ado, let's jump into the topic of the day, which is DPS. What is the Department of Public Safety doing with these DACA kids who have work permits but are denying them licenses? What's that all about?
So what we have been seeing here in the Valley, and in McAllen, Brownsville, and a couple of other cities, es que las personas que quieren renovar han renovado su permiso de DACA recientemente, digamos en octubre, noviembre, diciembre. Esas personas, now they have a valid work permit for 2 more years. So their permit expires in October, November, December of 2018. Now, because they received their driver's license for the duration of their work permit, every time they renew their work permit, they also need to go renew their driver's license. Y ahora están batallando para renovar la licencia. Han sido varias maneras en las que no han batallado para negar, pero en general es que les dicen que no se puede procesar, que it's on hold. They're waiting to hear from immigration, from USCIS, to verify that the documents are valid. Now, that should not be happening. There's no reason for that, since they have the physical card already. They received it. But one of our clients received a driver's license for 2 weeks, and he was told that they could not renew the driver's license any longer because of the uncertainty surrounding what might happen to DACA in the near future. Now that is completely outrageous, and we have written to DPS to try to sort that out, and we are working with them on that. But what we want to make sure we do is to get the word out to people who have DACA, and to let them know that the only thing that can happen is a delay. They can, DPS explains in its website that the verification of the immigration documents is almost always instantaneous, in real time. Lo pueden confirmar a través del programa online, pero si no, it should take no more than 30 days. So if there's a delay, it should not be more than 30 days. And after 30 days, you should receive your driver's license for the duration of your work permit. If anyone does not receive that, then we've got a huge problem in our hands. But we're working with DPS to sort this out and to make sure that people are well informed and are not receiving misinformation.
Now, did DPS indicate that this was a statewide policy, or just something that's happened in the Valley?
We've seen it in the Valley, and we wrote to them. We sent a public information request, and their deadline to respond to that is mid this week. So we're waiting for a response by Wednesday or Thursday. But they issued a public statement to the press here last week saying that their policy has not changed. That all they need to do is verify and confirm that the employment permit is valid.
And so what are you advising? For example, Paola, in just a moment will be joining us on. She's with us, but she'll be commenting and responding to a couple of questions to reveal her situation. But in general, what advice do you have to a kid who goes there, just turned 18, got his work permit, has got his his temporary driver's permit. Now he wants to get his or her real license, and they immediately say, "Oh no, you're a DACA recipient, and Trump is going to revoke it January 20th." What should they do to help you present this in court or administratively before a hearing officer? What kind of evidence would you need at that moment?
Right. So anyone who's told something like that and they already have received their new DACA permit, what they should do is get obviously the name of the person who turned them down and get their explanation in writing. Seek to speak to a supervisor and say, I need you to, what you're telling me, put that in writing and give it to me, and what is your name? Because once we document it, they might be acting contrary to existing policy, which is to issue the driver's license for the duration of the permit. There's no basis whatsoever. I mean, the uncertainty about what might happen to DACA has no bearing whatsoever on DPS's policy and regulations to issue the driver's license as of today.
That's clearly a state matter, not a federal matter. Now, my understanding is one of the reasons that your organization has challenged DPS is because of the fact that it does have, from what I can remember, a long history of interpreting the law and their policies in a fairly narrow anti-immigrant context. Am I right about that or wrong?
Well, yes, there was litigation a few years ago trying to force DPS to issue driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants. That litigation was not successful. But yes, more recently, we saw the issue of the denial of birth certificates. I mean, that was not DPS. That was the Department of State Health Services within Health and Human Services. That they were not issuing birth certificates to undocumented mother of children born here in Texas. That got resolved, but there has been a series of issues with some Texas agencies regarding the issuance of IDs and acceptance of IDs for certain documents. Now, it seems like this issue with the driver's license, as I said earlier, there's no basis for them to deny the renewal of a driver's license. There may be a reasonable explanation for the delay, but in any event, it should not take more than 30 days. And if anyone is told that, oh, the delay is because we don't know what's going to happen to DACA, then they should document that as thoroughly and in as much detail as possible. El nombre de la persona, que le dijo, cuándo y dónde se lo dijo, y si se lo pueden dar, y exijan que se lo den por escrito, so that we can document that and present it to court if that becomes necessary.
Excellent. Okay, let's talk to, vamos a darle la bienvenida a Paola Rodriguez. Good morning, Paola.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure being here with you.
It's all right. You have a nice radio voice, contrary to I got a frog in my throat. Estoy medio ronquillo hoy. Paola, how old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
And where do you go to school?
In Burgess High School.
And where are you from?
I'm from Juarez.
So how long have you been living in the United States?
Well, I came here when I was 5 years old, and I've been here ever since.
Okay, you went to grade school and high school here, and you're a senior.
Yes.
And what plans do you have after high school?
I want to have my cosmetology license, and then I want to have my barber's license. I want to have like my own salon and everything.
Okay, and right now I understand there are some classes in high school that you're taking to meet that goal of yours. Now, are you a DACA, how long have you had a DACA card?
I've had it for 3 years now.
And when does it expire?
In 2018.
Do you have a driver's license?
I just have my permit. I haven't gotten the driver's license yet.
Okay, when does the driver's license, is it a temporary permit?
Yes.
And when does that expire?
It already expired. I have to renew it.
Okay. Well, Efren, aquí tenemos primer cliente del Paso.
Exactly.
This is when we were looking or asking around for kids to come in. So well, maybe we can find someone who has that problem, because we do need someone, Paola, to go down there, and you've got the Texas Civil Rights Project, and I'll represent you locally. Is go down there and try to get your work permit, I mean, your driver's license. A ver qué dicen. ¿Le entras?
I'm all in.
All right, that's great. That's great. Now, I understand also that you're a member of the Border Network.
Yes.
And how long have you been a member of the Border Network?
Barely. Like I just barely started.
Yeah. It's a big difference, and I think you're familiar with that organization también, Efren.
Yes, sí, claro que sí.
Que es importante, no todos los chavos que son de DACA quieren dar su nombre y hablar públicamente por pena u vergüenza. Y se entiende y se vale, pero sin embargo, cuando ya tienen una trayectoria, una experiencia con un grupo de derechos humanos, entonces te quita el miedo y empiezas a alzar la cabeza y actuar con dignidad. Entonces, felicito a Paola. Vamos aquí tenemos Daisy y su hermano Arvizu. Ahorita regresamos con Paola y a ver qué preguntas o comentarios tienen ellos. Armando Arvizu, bienvenido.
Hola, buenos días.
¿Qué edad tienes tú, Armando?
Yo tengo 19 años.
Sí, tú también tienes el DACA, ¿verdad?
Sí.
¿Cuándo se te vence?
El año que viene, en diciembre de 2017.
Ok. ¿Y tienes licencia de manejar?
Yo sí.
¿Hasta cuándo?
Hasta diciembre de
Ok.
2017.
Perfecto. Okay. ¿Qué edad tenías cuando tú viniste?
Yo tenía 6 meses.
¿Y de dónde? ¿6 meses de edad?
Sí, y vengo de Juárez.
De Juárez. ¿Y tú y tu hermana? ¿Tú tienes cuántos años de edad?
Yo ahorita tengo 19.
¿Y tu hermana Arvizu?
Tiene
Daisy.
20.
20. ¿Y viniste con quién?
Con mi mamá y mi papá.
Perfecto. Entonces, ¿qué piensas? Ustedes también participan en el Border Network, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Sí. ¿Y cuántos años tienen participando en las marchas y protestas de ellos?
Como 3 o 4 años, no sé, la verdad.
Ok. ¿Y qué piensan de los comentarios del abogado?
Pues yo, cuando estuve tratando de sacar mi licencia el año pasado, en octubre, yo pues tomé el curso por internet y cuando fui a pues presentar mis papeles, me piden pues dos biles bajo mi nombre y no los tenía. So yo llevé el approval del work permit del DACA y me rechazaron el papel, no me quisieron agarrar nada y yo no pude sacar licencia apenas hasta hace 3 semanas.
¿Y por cuánto tiempo intentaste eso?
Pues lo intenté pues desde ese día hasta que lo pude sacar.
Casi
Un
2
año,
años, un año.
Un año.
How about that, Efren? What documents are they entitled to request once you produce the work authorization?
Well, they should not. If you already have the renewed work permit, the new one that is currently valid, you should not need anything in addition to that, because the work permit serves as both proof of identity and proof of legal presence.
Now,
You can use it for both purposes.
okay. Now, what did you ultimately turn in, Armando?
Well, I turned in my Bank of the America, where it says my name and my address, and then that paper, the immigration, and then my ID and my social, and they just didn't. They said that the paper they didn't. Well, they don't get that paper. It doesn't work.
Did that happen to you, Paola, too?
Yes.
Explain that to us.
Yes, they were asking, like you said, for improvement that you live here. They wanted 2 bills under your name. And in my case, we spent like months trying to change my dad's name from the bill to my name. And that was like a lot of paperwork. So until we got all that done, we gave them to them, and they still wouldn't let us because we needed like a signature of my parents or whatever. And then we went, and this one day we went back 3 times, and then we asked the girl for her name because she just really wouldn't. She was like denying it. So until we received the bill under my name and the account number for the bank, that's when they gave me the permit, like the license.
Wow. And did you, if Efrain, did you confront this type of problem in the past, or is this something that you're hearing for the first time?
This is something I'm hearing for the first time, requiring any additional documents once you have the work permit. Now, cuando hay algo así como cambio de nombre, o por ejemplo alguien que se está cambiando el nombre, o que se cambió de dirección, or someone that has outstanding tickets, now there may be other reasons to delay the process. Like a change of name, then they're verifying that that's actually your new legal name, potentially. But that has nothing to do with your immigration status or the type of work permit that you have. So there may be something else that is going on that explains the delay. The other situation, I just don't understand why they were asking additional documents if you had everything. Why were they requiring your utility bills? Did you move or something like that? Now, and also the other question I had, were you renewing your driver's license or were you getting it for the first time?
No, I was getting it for the first time.
Does that make a difference in terms of asking for residency requirements?
No, it doesn't make any difference in terms of lawful presence documents. But when you're going for the first time, there are other requirements like taking the course and doing those things that you don't need to do when you're renewing. So the renewal process tends to be more straightforward.
Now,
so if it was for the first time, there may be other things going on.
Yeah. Now I think this is a good teaching moment. It's very instructive that many times in the immigrant community, especially along the border, we have local bureaucrats sometimes acting in conjunction with or in accordance with state policy, misplaced as it may be, in such a way to thwart, to target, to hurt individuals. And I think for those who are listening to the program, I think it's important to learn from the lessons of these kids, which and from our invited guest, Mr. Olivares, attorney for the Texas Civil Rights Project, that it's not okay when you go try to get your driver's license to look at anything but your work authorization card. The work authorization card under the immigration law is proof of the right to work and proof of residence. It's like if you go with your residency card, they say, we want to see that you live here. Well, I'm a lawful permanent resident. And so many times they're adding requirements in order to delegitimize people who have gotten their legal permit or work authorization in a way that they disagree with politically. And so I think it is important for us to support the work of the Texas Civil Rights Project in that sense. Now, Paola, you've heard us talk about the real possibility of this getting revoked, the DACA. What's Plan B for you? What have you thought of doing?
Getting married? I don't know.
Yeah, you see?
I'm just kidding.
No, that's qué interesante que esa es una opción, si es real. Yeah. You know, the thing about it is love is blind but not deaf and dumb. And so if you want to get married, then it's okay. That can be a plan B. But you have to understand it cannot be solely for the purpose of a marriage. Es decir, los papeles puede tener un lugar en si te casas o no. Si tienes dos jainos, uno con papeles y otro con no, y los quieres los dos, ¿con quién te vas a casar? A rich guy or a poor guy? It can be a factor, but it cannot be the factor. Do a lot of work on immigration, marriage fraud. And so that could be a factor where it pushes us, or you're in a long-term relationship y de repente o nos casamos o me voy, o me caso o me sacan. You know, so I mean, it's time to make a decision. How about you, Armando?
No, just
What's plan B?
My plan B is just stay here and fight.
Are you working?
Yeah, I'm working
And where do you work?
at Peter Piper.
Sí.
Yeah.
¿Y te van a correr si te dan cuenta o ya se dieron cuenta porque estás con nosotros?
Oh, I don't know. Well, whatever happens, and I'll just fight for my rights.
And you continue to have to work and live.
Mm-hmm.
No cambia eso. How about Daisy? Let's get Daisy on the line. Daisy is your sister. Muy calladita, pero se está mordiendo las uñas como que no se aguanta. Quiere decir algo. Adelante, Daisy. Welcome. Tell us a little about yourself. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Yeah. What do you do right now?
I work and I'm currently on winter break, but I go to school too.
Yeah. What are you studying?
Computer security,
Okay. At where?
EPCC, Valle Verde.
And do you have a driver's license?
Yeah,
When does that expire?
I think it expires on August 2017.
Did you have any problem getting your driver's license like your brother?
I didn't.
They didn't ask you for...
Well, they asked me for the paper and an ID and then a bill under my name, so I took the bank statement and then the authorization for the DACA. And they gave it to me right away. They took the picture and I got it.
Great. Now you're also involved with Border Network, right?
Mhm.
And you guys have been involved in some other... What kind of activities have you guys been involved with?
That's it.
But there have been the marches for DACA and...
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Efren, no te vayas. Let's take a little break and we'll be right back. Ronco y todo.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Todos los lunes, miércoles y viernes a las 11 de la mañana, escucha el programa Trucha Time, conducido por el licenciado especialista en casos de inmigración, Carlos Spector. Conozca los cambios que hará Trump y los derechos que usted y su familia tienen. Y hay que estar preparado. Recuerde, lunes, miércoles y viernes a las 11 de la mañana.
Soy el abogado Carlos Spector. Los espero para darles información que necesitan cuando llegue Trump. Es Trucha Time. Preparados, no escamados.
Imagínese, cruzando una calle ocupada y con mucho tráfico, en contra de la luz del semáforo y encima de todo, con los ojos vendados.
¿Está usted loco?
¿Usted haría esto? Probablemente no lo haría. Es un riesgo que obviamente no vale la pena correr, pero algunos riesgos no son tan obvios, pero pueden ser igualmente mortales, tales como el riesgo de padecer diabetes tipo 2. Si usted tiene sobrepeso o más de 45 años de edad, tome el examen de riesgo de la diabetes. Es gratis y toma menos de 1 minuto. Llame al 1-800-DIABETES o visite portufamilia.org/tome el examen, ya que la diabetes tipo 2 es un riesgo que usted no debe correr. Tome el examen de riesgo de la diabetes y detenga la diabetes antes de que lo detenga usted. Un mensaje de la Asociación Americana de la Diabetes.
Cuando la noticia de dos países se entrelazan, se requiere un análisis profundo, certero, profesional, a fondo, versátil de quien entiende la dinámica de la frontera.
Texas tiene 17 votos electorales, es importante, es grande también. California tiene como unos 22, también es muy importante. Ohio es uno de los importantes.
Expresión fronteriza, con la opinión fresca, veraz y atinada de Leonardo Sala y Andía. Expresión fronteriza, de lunes a viernes, de 9 a 10 de la mañana por 7:50 AM.
Cuando necesite exámenes de rayos X, ultrasonidos, mamografía, tomografía computada y medicina nuclear a costos mucho menores que en El Paso, visite Centro Radiológico en Ciudad Juárez. En Centro Radiológico contamos con los equipos más avanzados para ofrecerle los mismos servicios radiológicos que en El Paso, a costos menores. En Centro Radiológico contamos con estudios de densitometría ósea. En Centro Radiológico manejamos los diferentes métodos para el diagnóstico acertado de osteoporosis a través de absorciometría y rayos X de doble energía. Si padece dolor de espalda inexplicable o hay antecedentes familiares, un examen de osteoporosis sería útil para detectar cualquier anomalía a tiempo. Llámenos para informes a Centro Radiológico en Ciudad Juárez. Teléfono 616-1505. Ubicados en Avenida López Mateos 890 Sur. Centro Radiológico en Ciudad Juárez. respaldando su buena salud.
Univisión América, Cama 750 AM, te trae lo mejor de la comunidad y noticias locales con Entérate El Paso. Ahora de lunes a viernes de 10 a 11 de la mañana. Te esperamos en Univisión América, Cama 750 AM, con las noticias más recientes, lo mejor en deportes, reporte de puentes, eventos en tu comunidad, oportunidades de trabajo y muchos otros servicios de tu interés. Entérate El Paso, lunes a viernes a las 10 de la mañana por Univisión América, Cama 750 AM.
Muchas veces realizamos nuestra rutina diaria, pero un sinfín de distracciones empañan nuestra mirada. Incontables víctimas de trata de personas caminan junto a nosotros, invisibles. Es tiempo de abrir los ojos. Blue Campaign brinda una voz unificada para quienes trabajan combatiendo el crimen atroz de la trata de personas, ya sea trabajo forzado, servidumbre o explotación sexual. Descubre qué puedes hacer en dhs.gov/Blue Campaign.
Keep this movement going. Keep this movement rolling. In spite of the difficulties, and we're going to have a few more difficulties, keep climbing. Keep moving. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving.
By all means, keep moving. And that's why we have Trucha Time. And that's why we have invited an important attorney in the state of Texas for our community, Efren Olivares, to talk about the developments in the world of the immigrant community, in the world of the Latino community in Texas. We've been talking with Efren Olivares from Texas, Civil Rights Project, Daisy Arvizu and her brother Armando, and Paola Rodriguez, young recipients of El Paso of DACA, who are concerned about the possibilities of their positions being changed in the society de indocumentado a DACA a revocado. And what do you guys think is worse, to have been undocumented all the time, or que te dan algo entonces te lo quitan? You know, because it's a question that many people have posed. Pues un estudiante me dijo el otro día, pues no, hubiera sido mejor que no me den nada, así no hubiera tenido esperanzas. What do you think, Paola?
Well, I think this is a country of immigrants, you know. I actually like the opportunity that they gave us by giving us this program. With this program myself, I was able to study what I love doing the most. I got a job. I was able to travel, which I wouldn't have done so if this program wouldn't have happened.
How about you, Armando?
Yeah, it's the same. Well, it gave me an opportunity to work in a legal way instead of working just like getting paid in cash or in construction. I got a job inside somewhere, Peter Piper, and I had a chance to go to Austin. And if it wasn't by the DACA, I would still be here.
Estarías en la jaula de oro.
Yep.
Y también, Daisy, you can speak into the microphone. ¿Qué piensas tú?
I like the opportunity because I was able to travel when I was in high school for sports. We went to regionals and all that stuff.
What did you play?
Track, cross country, and cadet challenge.
For which high school?
Mountain View.
Okay.
Mountain View.
Great. All of them with DACA, all of them with work authorization, the ability to work and contribute to the society. Oiga, Efren, otra cosa que quiero discutir contigo, ya que estaban muy involucrados y creo que es importante porque todavía existe la posibilidad que Trompetas intenta a promover una ley donde niega la ciudadanía a los chavos nacidos de padres indocumentados. Yo sé que ustedes tuvieron una experiencia. Tell us a little about that battle that you had and what was the end result, and how are there any lessons to be learned from what I believe DPS did to our kids during that period of time, and any similarities between what they were doing and any similarities to the response of the community?
Right. So the situation that we encountered was that the Vital Statistics Unit, which is an agency of the state in charge of registering births and deaths and issuing birth certificates, when a parent applies for a birth certificate to receive a certified copy or an original, the blue piece of paper, the birth certificate of their child, they need to present an ID showing that they are in fact the father or mother of that baby. And VSU was requiring certain types of identification, and they were not accepting the types of identification that undocumented mothers had. So, for example, if the mother had a Mexican passport that she got at the Mexican consulate, they said that that passport would only be accepted if it had a visa on it, and obviously if the person is undocumented, she has no visa on the passport. They were not accepting the matricula consular either. So they accepted many other things: a green card, a pilot's license, certain professional licenses, a military ID, but these were all things that undocumented people did not have. So then they ended up in a situation where they were locked out. They had no way to obtain a birth certificate for their children born in Texas, so undisputably United States citizens, and according to the U.S. Constitution, to the 14th Amendment, therefore, if they were born in the United States, they're entitled to all the benefits and immunities of citizenship, and that includes a birth certificate. So that was the situation we had. We litigated that case since last year for over a year, and then we were able to resolve it this past summer with an agreement from the state to accept the Mexican voting card, which now Mexican nationals can obtain it through their consulate here. So it takes a while because the application goes to Mexico and it's processed, but eventually they get a voting card, and with that ID, they can obtain the birth certificate for their children. But you are right. I think there are some similarities in the sense that it seemed like it was a pretext to try to deny the benefits of citizenship, because you have a 2-week-old baby or 1-month-old baby that has no birth certificate. That's the only type of ID that baby has, and it's the only way to demonstrate that baby was born in the U.S., that is a U.S. citizen, what his or her name is, who are his or her parents, all of those things. So for someone who's that young to not have the birth certificate, it's denying them in practice citizenship. So it seemed like a pretext to us, and that's why we challenged it in court. Fortunately, we were able to resolve it, and now all those problems are slowly fading away, and most of our clients have already received the birth certificate. As I said, it's in the 14th Amendment that anyone born within the United States is entitled to the benefits and immunities of citizenship. So even Congress cannot pass a law that is contrary to that, because that is in the U.S. Constitution. The only way that they could do that is to amend the Constitution. But in order to do that, a supermajority is necessary, and I don't think there is any chance that the current Congress or the coming Congress in 2017 would have enough support to do something as drastic as that. Now, there may be other efforts at the state and local levels to enable laws and ordinances and certain regulations to deprive immigrants and their families of certain rights. But I think we should all remember that many of the fundamental rights are protected by the Constitution, and particularly the Bill of Rights. So that will be there, and they apply to most people regardless of their immigration status.
Now, I remember getting some clients initially some mothers who were trying to get the kids' birth certificate who were 13 and 14. Did you confront any of those type of cases, or were they all recently born kids?
So most of them were recently born kids. We had a couple in which it was an older child, still, younger than 10, but she had lost the only copy she had of the birth certificate. So she was trying to get it again, presenting the same ID she had presented a few years back, and then she was turned away this time around. So something in their policy or practice had changed, and that's why we had to litigate it in court to make sure that this policy was changed so that people could have access to it.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's I think the lessons of this, of of what's happening to the kids in the driver's license with DACA, and even with work authorization and what they did with the issue of birthright citizenship, is just another example of why we need to be involved in our communities, why we need to be involved with political movements that support the community, because this whole thing of destabilizing a community, if you don't have an identity, si no eres de aquí y no te permito comprobar que tienes el derecho a estar aquí, entonces, ¿por qué lo estás haciendo? To destabilize you. And I think that, Efren, that part of this battle over the last 20, 30, 40 years is related to the taking away of voting rights. Because if you want to take voting rights away from Latinos, but to take away their citizenship, that's where we're at, where Governor Abbott was attempting to do that. So if Governor Abbott was going after our kids' citizenship, don't you think he's going to go after your license? And you weren't even born here. And so I think that's where we have that in common in this community, de que aunque eres secado, húmedo o mojado, ahí vienen, and it's important to be vigilant.
Y es muy interesante esa comparación que haces con el Civil Rights Movement, porque, o sea, nunca nos han regalado nada, ni a nosotros ni a nuestros antepasados. We've had to fight for everything, and a lot of people fought for many years to have something like DACA. So, por eso estoy orgulloso y quiero felicitar a Paola y a Armando y a Daisy por hablar, por alzar la voz, because this is our fight. This is the fight of our times. And we're not going to sit back and let them take away anything from us. We're going to fight for it through legal means, peacefully, obviously, fight in the good sense of the word. Vamos a luchar para que se protejan los derechos nuestros y de nuestras familias, de nuestros vecinos y de todas las personas, independientemente de su estatus migratorio. Así como muchas personas, cientos de miles de personas lucharon por muchos años, por décadas, para obtener en su tiempo el derecho a votar de las mujeres, igualdad para votar para las personas afroamericanas. Este es el tema que nos toca, por el cual nos toca luchar a nosotros. Así que les agradezco y los felicito por alzar la voz y por no dejarse. Habemos organizaciones legales y de otro tipo que estamos aquí para acompañarlos en esta lucha y no va a ser fácil, pero no nos vamos a dejar. Preparados, no escamados.
Así es. And that translates very well to scared.
Prepared, not
scared. Prepared, not scared. Pero 577-0750 en los 3-4 minutos que nos sobran. Si tienen alguna pregunta. Si no, Efren, ¿dónde pueden hablarte si hay algunos chavos que tienen este problema de la licencia? ¿Cómo se pueden comunicar con usted?
Claro que sí. Me pueden localizar a nuestro teléfono, que es el 956-787-8171. Ese es el número, otra vez, 956-787-8171. Efren Olivares, a sus órdenes. Aquí estamos para ayudarlos. Aquí me pueden localizar y también a través de nuestra página, que es texascivilrightsproject.org. Ahí encuentran toda la información de contacto para llamarnos o contactarnos por correo electrónico.
Gracias. Algunas otras palabras, chavos, invitando a los otros a involucrarse con el Border Network. Hay unas palabras que nos pueden animar. Hay una fiesta el viernes. hay pues a party. Sí, un party is an organizing tool. Okay?
I mean, just to get out there and, don't hide. This is your future. You need to stand up and fight for what you want for.
That's what Burgess High School said. What does Mountwood say?
Mountwood, we're not from.
Where'd you say you were from? Mountwood. You went to Mountwood.
Mountain View.
Mountain View. Pues sale igual. Mountain View. That's one of the newer schools.
Just to keep on fighting and don't give up, because sometimes you get discouraged and, you need to fight for what you want.
Well, here we have a nucleus of leaders in our community because it's Trucha Time, because Trump ain't playing around, okay? Trump is not playing around, and in my sense, it will be revoked what form it takes on January 20th or shortly thereafter. And whatever it is, it will not be complete rights or full rights. And so those of you who have tasted the fruits of political struggle and have been able to work to realize your dreams, just to have them taken away, have a special responsibility as leaders in this community, for you are our future. And I thank you for being with us, and I thank you for struggling with us, and I thank you for your pain and your sweat and your tears, many more to come in the future. Muchas gracias, Efren. Ojalá que sea la primera de muchas otras entrevistas con ustedes.
Claro que sí, a sus órdenes.
Ok, adiós.
Bye bye.
Keep this movement going. Keep this movement rolling. In spite of the difficulties, and we're going to have a few more difficulties, keep climbing. Keep moving. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving.
Keep moving. Keep moving.